Yeah, good morning and welcome to our session today. I hope you are all doing great. I hope you are keeping well, and I hope you had a lovely time yesterday going through the material on patient monitors and patient monitoring, both the theory and the practical. And particularly for those of you who have been using or are still going to use the ProSim 8 patient simulator. So you see there are lots of features in that equipment on the practical side, and that video provides quite a lot of insight. So let's hear about your experience yesterday going through the material on patient monitors. How many of you were able to do some work on patient monitoring yesterday? Fellow, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, so let's hear your experience.
Uh, Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yes. Yes, I went through those videos of Crossing Age, so I learned a lot. So I didn't know if we can test the leak test on the patient monitor. So I have seen it so that you can test the leak test. And then I have a question here, Mr. Okai.
Yes.
When coming to NIBP,
Yes.
if we test an NIBP, the range of, let me say, 120 and 80,
Mm-hmm.
then after testing it, on the patient monitor will appear maybe 130 and maybe 90. Then, and on
Yeah.
a tester, it was 120 and 80.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, we'll say the patient monitor is okay. I want to know the difference between.
Yes. Usually, when you are testing with testing equipment, we usually give some tolerance, right?
Okay?
You give a tolerance with some equipment is 5%, with some equipment is 10%. And as long as your um, tests are within the values in that tolerance range, then it's still okay. But if it's out of that tolerance range, then it's either your equipment is not working correctly or your testing equipment will need to be recalibrated. It needs to be sent for calibration, which is why for some of this testing equipment, once a year or once in a while, they are sent for recalibration to make sure that their measurements are accurate because sometimes it can be off with time. But if your testing equipment has just been calibrated and you're sure that yes, the reading you are getting from there is fine, and then your device under test, as long as the values are within the tolerance range, it's okay. But if it's outside of that range, then that equipment needs to be, it means the equipment is not giving you correct measurement, so it needs to be checked.
But so as here in John Morolo,
Yeah.
we've been 10% tolerance. So I don't know, maybe it was correct or what.
What's the experience in other hospitals? Let's hear from others in other hospitals. Usually, when you test, and again, it's equipment dependent. But for NIBP, for argument's sake, what tolerance value do you allow in your hospitals? And even in the private company for people like Michael and David. Sorry, not Michael, Andrew and David. So let's hear from those in the hospital and those in the private sector. Tsepo, you are in a hospital, so what's the tolerance you usually allow? Tsepo, are you there? Tsepo. Yeah, Tsepo, we can't hear you. Or you can type in the WhatsApp. I still can't hear Tsepo. If I don't hear you, it's either you are here or you are not here. You can type in the WhatsApp if you're having audio problem. Now, let's hear from the private sector. David and Andrew, what's the tolerance when you do NIBP measurements with the testing equipment?
Yes, Mr. T. Good morning.
Morning to you.
Morning, it's David.
Yes, sorry, I have a poor connection this side, but I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
All right, thanks. Sorry, I just only catch up on the word tolerance, but I couldn't hear the whole story of the tolerance story because of this poor connection. So you were saying the tolerance is it depending on which measurement?
When doing NIBP measurements with a testing equipment, what is the tolerance you usually allow? For instance, he was saying that sometimes he can set 120/80 measurement for NIBP, but when he does the measurement, he gets maybe 130/90. And the explanation is that sometimes you have a tolerance that you allow, but if it's outside of that tolerance, then there's a problem. So the question is, and he said, okay, if in that case, they allow 10% tolerance. Now, based on your experience in industry, the private sector, what tolerance do you allow when you do such measurements?
Okay, so obviously on the NIBP, so what we do is according to the manufacturer instruction, we were normally doing on the tolerance it was 10, and obviously it has to be it has to be based on the leak test first, because of obviously if you measured the leak test and then you find it accurately, then the tolerance it mustn't be over 10%.
Okay, thank you very much. So
Yes.
that leak test is also very important, because if your equipment has a leak, obviously, your values will be way off, way off. So make sure there's no leak in the NIBP test. Then you can bank on whatever readings you are getting. But if there's air leaking from somewhere, then obviously you know that your readings are going to be off. So thank you for
Yes,
that.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. That's what we normally do as well.
Okay, so Tsepo, are you back with us? Tsepo, NIBP is 10 and others is 5. Okay, I see she's typed something in the WhatsApp. Okay, fine. From Bridge Hospital. Okay, great. Fine. Anybody else want to comment based on your experience testing NIBP equipment, using the various testing equipment you have?
On classification of monitors.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to know about this one, discharge monitor. That one I really don't know it. I haven't seen it as such.
Discharge monitor.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to go back and see what you're referring to. Maybe you need to give us more information. Does anyone know what he's talking about?
Like they say, they'll give it to a patient to connect it at home, which means it will monitor throughout the day as to what is triggering something. So
okay.
I really
Okay. Okay, it may not necessarily be like a big screen that they are carrying around with them at home. It could just be something that is connected to transmit ECG signals or some other signals to the doctor while the patient has been discharged and they are going home. But there is still a need for the doctors to keep a close eye on those vital signs so that if anything were to go wrong, they can pick it up early. So sometimes they will connect a device to the patient that can still be monitoring maybe their ECG or their pulse or some other vital sign that the doctor is interested in, and be transmitting that regularly from time to time to the doctor's office so that they can see without the patient having to come to the hospital all the time for these measurements. Okay? So they have that device connected to them, and that device can either store or transmit these signals periodically so that the doctor can keep an eye on those vital signs of the patient and pick up as soon as possible if anything is off, and they can trigger interventory measures to assist that patient, because there are some patients that are prone to a heart attack, and so and especially if they live far away, for help to get to them, it may take a bit of time. But if you pick it up early through the signals that are being transmitted that something is wrong, help can reach them sooner. Or the doctors or whoever is monitoring on the other side can phone and say, okay, you need to come to hospital now because we've picked up that something is not right. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that.
So it means they are using an off-site monitoring.
You can put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's just like, there are some of these smart wristwatches that you put on these days. They can monitor your heart rate, your ECG, your number of steps, and all of that. So such information can be transmitted to a database. They can be transmitted to a doctor's room. Athletes use them a lot these days. And so they are connected to patients as well. So this is all part of, call it Internet of Things or Internet of health, if I may put it that way. Okay. I think there's another one they call Internet of Persons, where they monitor your health and all of that, and the signals are transmitted remotely. So it's all part of new technology and all part of connectedness of one's health and vital signs with the doctor's room so that there can be easy monitoring, easy recording of data, and easy and quicker intervention if something were to go wrong. And sometimes it's important for patients who were inpatients but have now been discharged and they're going home as outpatients, for there to be continuous monitoring of certain parameters without keeping them in the hospital. Because if you keep them in the hospital just for that, it's expensive, it's going to cost money. But if there's a way to keep on monitoring them without the expense of hospital stay, then they can have such devices connected to them that can transmit vital data of interest to the doctors from time to time so that continuous monitoring can be ensured. Okay, so who else learned something from patient monitoring, and what have you learned? What stood out for you that you want to mention?
It's Andrew, sorry.
Yes.
Hello? Yes.
Oh, yes.
I've got this question. Maybe you can clear it for me. It's on the pulse oximetry.
Yes.
So especially on the probes.
Yes.
The finger probe one. So my question is, because of when I was going through that session, it says the light, I think it's the red light or the infrared light that is in the probe is recognizing arterial blood by pulse motion. So my question is it through the movement of the is it through the movement of the blood, or is it calculating through the infrared to measure the compression or the what you call it? I don't know what to say. But my question is because of the infrared LEDs, the finger probe one, the one that I just only need the clarity. If how does the way how it measures? Okay, so what I wanted to know is does it measures the compression or the pressure, or is it only measured the movement? Because of the way how they said it says it recognized the arterium by the pulse motion. So my question is it through the compression, the pressure, or is it through what?
Okay, it's not through compression because there's no compressive action involved per se. You're not palpating, but you are sensing the movement, like with the arteries. Oxygenated blood flows through your artery, and that's the red blood. The blue blood is the one that flows through your vein that goes back to the heart. But blood coming through the systemic circulation is oxygenated. And there's a force that pushes that as the heart beats, loop doop, loop doop, loop doop. And if you look at pressure points in the body, you can feel the pulsatile effect, the pulse, that pressure of the heart beating and forcing blood into the systemic circulation. So a combination of the fact that you have oxygenated blood and you have that red and infrared light, one transmits, one receives, and then with that pulsatile movement of the blood through the arteries in the site where the probe is. So it picks up both the color and the fact that there's a pulsatile movement of blood through the arteries. So one transmits red light. You have your red and infrared. One transmits, one receives on the other side as the blood passes through the finger. And then it takes that output. Remember, there's a code written at the back. Okay, so there's a software that does all the processing of the signal before it now converts that. So we have the signal processing part. Coming from the probe, you have the probe. Then that signal needs first to be amplified if you understand how the mine instrument system works. You pick it up from the probe. It's amplified so that it can be easily read, and then it's processed through the signal processing. That's where the software and algorithm now converts that into a form that can be read and displayed. So you have your red and infrared light, and usually now in the university there we usually ask it's one of the projects that students want to build a pulse oximeter or something that at least can sense the SpO2 and then converts that into a reading and then display it. So those LEDs, one transmits, one receives, and what it receives is based on the movement of blood through the finger and also the quality of, let's say, the percentage of oxygen, because there's color involved. The more scarlet it is, the more oxygen you have in that blood. So if there's poor oxygen in the blood, it means you are having more of blue blood than red blood. And so the more of it you have as light transmits, it's picked up on the other side. And then the redness, as you know, we have that. You see, you cannot, what's the word? So the more oxygenated it is, it impinges on how much of that light can go through. right? And how much of it can be picked up on the other side before the signal is now amplified and processed, and through the algorithm that has been built into that system, it now translates into figures that we can see and say, okay, this is 94% or 98% of oxygenation in the blood. So that's how it works. It's not necessarily pressure, but a combination of the pulsatile movement of blood through the arteries. Because again, the pressure in the arteries is not the same as pressure in the vein. In the vein, the pressure is much, much, much lower or completely absent. But in the arteries, the pressure is more. So you have that pulsatile movement as the heart is beating, loop, doop, loop, doop. And you can feel that pulsatile movement when you put your finger in pressure points. So that combined with the color of the blood, which is what determines how much light will go through and how much is picked up on the other side. So the more reddish it is, the more oxygen you have. And the poorer the amount of oxygen in the blood, the less of the reddish color you have, and it will be picked up on the other side. And when that signal is now amplified and it goes through the algorithm built into it, then it translates that into a number or a reading that you can see on the output side. So that's the mechanism. That's the way I can explain how that mechanism works. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but that's just a short way of paraphrasing how it works. I don't know if that makes sense.
Thank you so much. I think it's answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. What about the activity? Did anybody manage with activity 10.1?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
But
you haven't done the video yet. I see you've registered there, but no video yet.
The video is loaded.
Loaded.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's loaded, but I feel that I still maybe need to delete that one and
exactly.
upload a good one.
So the first one is like a practice run.
Yes, correct.
So now you are going to do a proper one.
Yeah, but the video is there. It says when I was loading it this morning, it says 100% loaded. Okay. So I guess it's there.
Okay, Masentle.
Yes, Mr. Tim.
Your hand was up. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that yes, I managed to upload the video.
Okay. I will check and see, and then maybe when we meet again, we'll see some of those videos.
Yes.
Okay. Now, someone is supposed to introduce herself today, and let's see who that is. Okay, so let me share screen so we can see who it is that should introduce him or herself. Yeah. So today it's your turn. Refilwe Rebecca Hartney. Becca, where are you? Clinical engineering technician, your hobbies are listening to good music, watching reality programs, and reading the Bible. So, Becca, where are you? Tell us about yourself. I don't know. I can only see you from your nose upwards. I don't see the rest of the face. I don't know. Is it just me? Oh, there you are. Maybe you can adjust it a little bit more so we can see you clearly. That's better. Okay. You are still muted. Aha. Go ahead. Oh, where is she? Looks like she's gone. Becca, where are you? Is she having a network problem?
Sorry, sir, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Take this back.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. We're not hearing you. Oh, okay. We don't hear him. Okay, while we're waiting for Becca to come and for Michael to connect, I have authored a book which I want to introduce to you guys. And the book is titled Passport to Greatness: Upscale Your Potential for Success and Achievement. It's a motivational book, and it's available on Amazon.com, but also available on my website. Yes, I do have a website. So let me quickly introduce the book. If you go to passporttogreatness.co.za, you will see, yes, so if you click on books, it's available in soft copy and hard copy as well. So it's a book on how to discover the real you, discover your potential, know what gifts and talents you have in you, how do you discover them, how do you develop them, and how do you use them to achieve maximum success in life. So you can buy the hard copy, and it can be couriered to you within two days, or you can get a soft copy, and then you can watch it. You can read it on Amazon Kindle. You can install Kindle for free on your phone or laptop, and you can read it from there. So soft copy or hard copy. And then, yes, so if you just go there, click. So the price is there, which includes courier straight to your door. The soft copy is 100 Rand, is on sale at the moment, and the hard copy also on sale at the moment for 285, and that includes courier delivery straight to your door. Okay. I have it here as well. I have the hard copy here with me, and yeah, so that's my book. If you are interested, we can talk about it some more, but yeah. Yes.
Michael, you are saying something concerning me. Sorry?
Yeah, you wanted to say something before, and then we didn't hear you anymore. So yeah, go ahead with what you wanted to ask.
You can hear me now. Good morning, everybody.
We can hear you.
I was about Andrew, the thing that you was talking about, because of there's something that I've learned through instrumentation.
Yes.
You know instrumentation.
There
is instrumentation. It's a subject.
I know.
There is an instrument that transmit that transmits signal from transmitter to the receiver, where you can then send the signal to the amplifier. Then it amplifies that signal. Then it display on the monitor. It's the same like the way you have been explaining. I was just trying to add to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the same if transmission is involved. Normally in the MEM instrument system for biomedical engineering or biomedical instrumentation, you have the transducer, which picks up your signal and converts it into a form, an electrical form. So it could be your signal could be acoustic, mechanical, whatever. So your transducer converts that into usually an electrical form. Okay. So your probes, which are your applied parts, are those you connect to the body, picks up signal, and then it has to go through a form because those signals are very small and they cannot easily be displayed. So they have to be amplified. And after amplification, then they are processed further before they are finally displayed into an output. which could be a digital or analog form. So yes, that's part of instrumentation. And when you do, if you're studying biomedical engineering or clinical engineering, usually we have a subject, medical equipment 2, where we talk about the man instrument system. And that's where what you're talking about, instrumentation, comes in. But in our own case, it is biomedical instrumentation, because you're looking at signals that impinge with the human body, the man instrument system. You pick up signals from the body, either from the brain, like your EEG, or from the heart, your ECG, or like in this case, SpO2 measurement, or temperature, or blood pressure. And then you have to amplify that, and then you convert it to a form, digital or analog, that can be seen in some kind of output display, where we can now interpret that signal and read it in a form that is easily decipherable by the person operating the equipment. So yes, you are spot on. It's part of instrumentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just let me just clarify. Sorry, just to clarify my question, but I know you already answered me.
Yes.
My question was only based on the what the probe is picking
Yes.
up on the body.
Yes.
So that was my question, because of I didn't know, I didn't have that clear
Yes.
of what does it receive. Does it receive the pressure, or does it receive the color, or does it receive what? So, but now now I'm clear because of you answered my question.
Yeah, it's mostly the color, which is also why you see, when you connect a probe, the finger probe, to a person's finger, and if they have too much is it Q-tex they call it now, the ones the ladies paint in the finger?
Nail, paint nail, yeah.
Yeah, nail polish. Depending on the color, it can affect it as well, right? It can affect it. But modern devices have got algorithms that take that into consideration. Okay, because they know that sometimes ladies can have, nail polish. Some are red, some are black, some are, well, all kinds of designs. So it can confuse the machine. So that is taken into account as well in the algorithm that is developed to make allowance for that. But preferably, the finger you put in there should not have too much of those, call them artifacts. Artifacts are unwanted signals, or things that can block the actual signal from being picked up. And also, long nails will prevent your finger from entering into that finger probe properly. So if your nails are too long, it means your fingers don't get in there properly, and so the light cannot pass through where it's supposed to pass through, because now there's some gap or allowance because of the long nail. So these are some other things that can cause incorrect readings for SpO2. So when you're putting that finger probe into a finger, make sure that it's a finger that does not have too much artifacts, so that your readings can be correct. Because if you're not picking up correct input signals, your output will not be right. Okay, great. So Becca, are you back with us now? Yes, there you are. Yeah, go ahead with your introduction. Tell us everything you want us to know about yourself. Becca, I can't hear you. Yeah, she wrote something on WhatsApp. Her name is Refilwe Hatnik, clinical engineering technician at Moses Kotane Hospital, married and like to travel, love music and watching reality shows. Her favorite food is mussels with garlic bread. Okay. Okay, fine. Does anyone have any question for her? Anything you would like to know about Refilwe Rebecca Hatnik? Your name Hatnik doesn't sound like an African name from Northwest. Where did it come from? Are you married to a colored? Are you married to a white guy? And where does Hatnik come from? Do you have colored origins? Tell us about Hatnik. You can type that as well in the WhatsApp because we can't seem to hear your voice right now. Okay, we'll wait for that information in the WhatsApp.
Okay, so while we're waiting,
yes, go ahead.
So while we're waiting for her to type there, about your book, question is,
yes,
can I recommend it to anybody, or is it specific for clinical engineers' mind, or is it
No.
hospitalities, or what?
It's not a book for clinical engineers. It's a motivational book. It's a book about life, motivation. You want to be great in life. The title is Passport to Greatness. It has nothing to do with clinical engineering. It's a motivational book to motivate you to be the best you can be in life. It helps you to discover your gifts, your talents, your potential that God has put inside of you. Helps you to develop them. It shows you how you can develop them and bring them out. Some of you can sing, but you've done nothing with that song. Some of you can dance, you can write, you can do poetry, but the world doesn't know about you yet. Some of you are good soccer players, but we don't even know you play soccer. No one has said about you. How do you develop those gifts? How do you put it out there for the world? What can you do about it? So that book is about helping you to discover, develop, and use your potential to become the best you can be in every sphere of life. That's what the book is about. So it's good for school going kids in high school, in university, for workers like you who you don't know what the future holds. You don't even know why you are here on earth. You don't seem to have a sense of direction in life, but you need some kind of guidance because some people just need someone to point them in the right direction. If you had a mentor, you had a coach, you had someone to point you in the right direction in life, maybe you will not be where you are today. If you realize how to develop what you have, the gifts, the talents, all those things you used to do when you were a kid, you were good at certain things, but you never followed up on them. And so you never got to display them for the world to see, to celebrate you and celebrate your gifts and talents. So the book is about helping you and pointing you in the right direction. And even if you feel, okay, no, I'm old now, I can't do that. You have kids, you have grandkids, you have brothers, sisters, upcoming generation. The book will be very useful in helping them to discover themselves, their gifts, their talents, and how to project that to the world to become the best that they can be.
Okay.
Okay.
Well said. Well said, Mr. P. Well said. I think you must consider becoming a motivational speaker.
I am a motivational speaker, and
yes.
I have traveled to close to 50 different countries as a trainer, conference speaker, facilitator. Yes, I have been all over. I've been all over. And the book took 25 years to write. So it's really packed full. It's packed. It took a lot of time because good things take time to make, and great things take even longer time to make. Yeah, so it took that long because we want to package something that is relevant in Africa, in Europe, in America, all over the world. And the book has gone to different parts of the world, America, Europe, US, all over Africa. Yes. So, yeah, I stopped there for now.
Okay.
But Becca says, yeah, she's married to a colored. Yes, go ahead. Becca's husband is from Western Cape. So I think that explains it. That's where the name comes from. It's called a place called Tallback. So she's married to a colored, and yes, that's where the Hackney comes from. So that explains it. Andrew, are you saying something else?
Yes. I just want to ask you this question.
Yes.
Today is the 15th, and we are only left with 10 days to attend to our end of our course. So the question is to you:
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your student? Are you what percentage can you rate us? And also the other thing is what kind of advice can you give us as well going forward?
Okay. Let me point out that Michael still hasn't put his introduction, activity 1.1. Just a reminder. I think so far you guys have done very well. You've been very interactive, cooperative. You've been doing the activities even up to late last night. We had load shedding from 8 to 10 p.m. last night. And when I logged in at after 10 p.m. when power came back, somebody was still up there busy with activity on mural, which is quite encouraging. It means you guys don't give up. You still try. You still, even those who have not made it yet, there are just one or two people who succeeded in mural, but they are still trying. I can still see even till last night, late last night, somebody is still busy on mural, which is good. So we're almost there. So far so good. And yeah, you guys have done very well so far. I'm proud of you all. You've been busy with the activities. You've been very cooperative. You've been very interactive. And even amongst yourself, you collaborate well. And that bodes well, not just for this course, but how you interact among each other in future, because this is now a team. You are building rapport amongst yourself, which will continue not only during this course, but even outside of this course. And so you are now a closer knit family than before you came to this course. Even though, yes, most of you are from Northwest, you've been collaborating at that level. But at the end of this course, we'll add you to an even bigger family of clinical engineering professionals out there that you can collaborate with even some more. So I would say so far so good. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give you guys a 7 for now because we still have some more miles to go before we finish. Let's see what happens then. But I can give you guys a 7 for now. Well done to you all. Okay, so
Thank you.
yes, yeah. So continue with the material on patient monitoring because it continues today as well. And then take some time. Yes. Go ahead, Michael. Okay, Michael.
So you said you haven't this introduction. We sent that. You can hear me.
Go ahead.
I sent that introduction twice on your Gmail. Check your Gmail.
I saw it on the Gmail, but when I opened it was empty. Your part is still empty. So maybe you sent the wrong thing. So I would say try to send it again. Make sure that what you're sending, what you're attaching actually has the part where you wrote something. Because when I opened it, what I saw there, your part is still empty at the bottom. There's nothing there. So check again and resend it.
I sent with Justice phone. You got my point. With Justice phone, use for Justice phone.
Yes, you sent it, and I received it, and I opened it. And when I opened, at the bottom there, your part is still empty. So maybe you sent the wrong file, not the one that you've written something on. So please send it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll try it on screenshot, then send it to you. Is it fine?
Okay. Send a screenshot, then I can maybe upload it for you. I can just update the details there. But then what about the picture? If you send a screenshot, the photo needs to be there. Yeah, so I cannot put a photo for you. You have to do that yourself.
No, the photo is there. Sharp.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for today. We'll stop here for now because I have other students for my diploma students I'm lecturing now. I'm actually supposed to start with them at 9:30. So let's stop here for now. Carry on with patient monitoring. Finish up with the practical. Do the activity. And yeah, we'll meet again tomorrow morning. Okay. So have a nice day, all of you, and keep well, stay blessed, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Mr. T.
Bye.